want to go right now to New York City Police Commissioner, former New York City Police Commissioner Bernard Kerik, for some thoughts on some of what we heard today and what we can expect in the days ahead. Commissioner Kerik, he talked about security, and this has been a big theme for him, obviously, on the campaign trail. When you look forward to the next 100 days and what can be accomplished, what is it that, in your view, he needs to start to do to really start to make our country feel more secure, not just from an international perspective with ISIS, but also from the perspective of what African Americans are facing in terms of challenges alongside the police departments in America facing challenges from those communities?
Good evening, Trish. I think you've already seen him begin what he's about to do with the nomination and the confirmation today of the Secretary of Defense, with the Secretary of Homeland Security. General Mattis is one of the most respected men in the military. The men and women will follow him. John Kelly, the Commissioner, the Secretary of Homeland, is somebody that knows this country, knows the borders. But the president is also extremely concerned with the African-American communities, the communities of color like Chicago and Baltimore and some others that have been ravaged over the last many years, where the murder rates are up, where the shootings are up, where the violence is up, and that stuff has to get cleaned up, and he's committed to doing exactly that.
He's got some challenges ahead of him, and I think in some ways, Bernie, he went into territory that very few are willing to go into, in that he has called out the leaders of these communities and said, you know what, you haven't done a darn thing to improve the lives of your constituents. I mean, we heard him say that to John Lewis. He also said that, of course, on the campaign trail. And I thought, you know, it's refreshing to hear this. He's taking on an area that a lot of people, frankly, Bernie, have been afraid to take on.
Yeah, but you know what, Trish? Donald Trump was living in New York City back in 1994 when Rudy Giuliani took over the New York City environment, when they had 2,000 homicides, and people said it would never get cleaned up. And over that 8-year term of Rudy Giuliani, we saw violent crime drop 65%, and homicides dropped 70% by the time I left office as police commissioner. Donald Trump knows this stuff can get done. He also knows it's all about leadership. It's all about the people in the positions of power that run those communities that have failed, like Chicago and Baltimore. And he's already called them out, saying, look, if you need federal help, ask for it and I'll give it to you. But you cannot let the people of your communities die like you have over the last several years. This has been going on for 2 decades, 3 decades.
Bernie, I just have about 30 seconds left, but Chicago, I think, is just one of the saddest stories, to see how crime has skyrocketed there, to see the murder rate this year alone. It's shocking, it's disturbing, and Bernie, it's got to change.
No, listen, I think it's going to change. I think eventually the president will put together a crime task force. I've been talking to the Heritage Foundation, who is going to put together a package to propose to the president, a violent crime, aggressive violent crime attacking package that will help these cities like Chicago and Baltimore and others. I think you're going to see a big, big difference in those kinds of communities, over the next 4 to 8 years.
Wow, it would be something. If he can really start to invoke some change in those communities, we may see some of the concerns in those communities regarding him and regarding the Republican Party really start to shift in a monumental way. Bernie, it's good to see you tonight. Thank you so much. You look terrific.
Trish, thank you. You do too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.